Good evening, this is GCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ninghui Kim Khong Sai. First, the headlines. Manipur government appoints key officials to lead flood relief efforts in the state. Rajasthan High Court declared national emergency to government after 54 heat-related deaths in India. News in detail. The government of Manipur, in response to the devastation caused by Cyclone Remal, has taken decisive steps to streamline relief efforts and address the grievances of flood-affected communities. Under directive of Chief Secretary on May 30, a structured mechanism has been established, appointing nodal officers for affected subdivisions and relief kings. As per India Today notice, these officers will oversee grievance redressal, coordinate with authorities, and ensure efficient rescue and rehabilitations. In affected subdivisions, designated nodal officers will be responsible for regular visits, addressing resident grievances, and coordinating with the 24/7 control room and relevant authorities. Similar directives will be issued by other affected deputy commissioners. Similarly, in relief camps, appointed nodal officers will oversee operations, address resident grievances, and coordinate with authorities for necessary action. To ensure prompt and coordinated actions across departments, jurisdiction-wise departmental teams have been formed. These teams will work in tandem with the control room, addressing grievances and coordinating relief efforts. Furthermore, a coordinations committee headed by Chief Secretary has been constituted to supervise and coordinate overall rescue, relief, and rehabilitation efforts. The committee comprises high-ranking officials from various departments to ensure effective collaborations and swift actions. Respective administrative secretaries and heads of departments will personally monitor their department's activities, providing daily reports to Chief Secretary for effective oversight. With these measures in place, the government of Manipur aims to enhance coordinations and expedite relief efforts for the benefit of flood-affected communities. The Indian Army on Saturday commemorated World Environment Day by organizing a series of impactful and inspiring environmental activities for the children of Z.T. Parbung, D. Monapai, and T. Yangnom villages of Murray. The event targeted to raise awareness about environmental conservation and foster a sense of responsibility towards nature among the younger generation. The event saw enthusiastic participations from 50 children and 20 families. The day's activities began with a plantations drive where children and families enthusiastically participated in planting saplings, contributing to conservation of their village. This was followed by a special cleanliness drive for the restorations of wasteland, landfill, and garbage dump, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a clean and healthy environment. The event concluded with a screening of an engaging environmental movie, which educated the children on the importance of preserving our planet. To further educate the participants, the Indian Army organized an awareness drive and motivational lecture that covered critical environmental issues such as global warming, deforestation, waste management, sustainable living practices, and achieving net zero homes. Valuable insights were shared, emphasizing the need for an integrated approach to waste management and the importance of behavioral and cultural changes to support a sustainable lifestyle. The event concluded with a renewed commitment from both the Indian Army and the local communities to work together towards a sustainable and cleaner future. A request has been made to the DC of Chandil in regards to an order issued by the DC of Chandil to the complete terminations of the bridge constructed plan which was supposed to connect Chandil and Churachandpur. The National Commissions for Scheduled Tribe NCST had issued a notice to Chief Secretary Dr. Vinit Joshi, Deputy Commissioner Chandil Krishna Kumar and DC Churachandpur Dharun Kumar S. whether the order to dissolve the bridge construction plan made by the DC of Chandil have already been terminated or not. The said bridge was named Seloita Bridge and is constructed over Goon River, flowing between Ke Mulnum Chandil and New Bizang Churachandpur. DC Chandil on the 21st of March had issued an order to completely halt the Seloita Bridge construction. Palmilin Hokip, Lenin KIM Legal Affairs, on the 29th of March has submitted a petition to NCST for the dissolvement of the order issued by DC Chandil. Not only that, Palmilin also urged the NSCT to construct a district rural road to connect Kangui to Songpi to Tingnopal to Haukuching to cycle headquarters. In accordance with petitions submitted by Palmilin, the NCST issued a notice to Chief Secretary and DC of both districts. The NCST urged the Chief Secretary and both DCs to respond to the notice issued within 15 days from the date of issuance. The NCST notice says that if the three officers fail to respond to the notice within the stipulated time, the NCST will have to summon them personally. Today at 9 a.m., the Gospel for Shalom Nation organizing a blessing prayer program for CSO leaders of Tingnopal district. The aims and objectives of today's blessing prayer program organized by Gospel for Shalom Nations includes prayer for unity of CSO leaders and prayer for peace and prosperity. Reverend Tonglet Hauki was the minister of the program. The Gospel for Shalom Nations Program Committee expressed their heartfelt gratitude to all the invitees present today. Reverend Hamkulun Director ZSN advised all the CSO leaders that if they are united and carried out their responsibilities according to the will of God, then Tingnopal will be prosperous and peaceful. Love Feast for Unity and Strength was organized for all the attendees after the program ended successfully. It has been made viral on social media that poison was aided by some unknown person in Kugadam. And in relation to that, the Public Health Engineering Department, PHED, Churachandpur had taken a sample of Kugadam water for test. The experiment was led by an executive engineer, John Thanglin Mang Sing Soon. The team have found no presence of poisonous substance or harmful chemicals in the Kugadam water, PHED reported. John Sing Soon had made a clarifications to the general public that the rumor was false and that Kugar River water was safe for drinking based on the result obtained from their laboratory experiment. At least 54 people have lost their lives so far due to the continued heat wave conditions in several parts of the country, especially the northern region. Worst affected places such as Delhi, Punjab, and Odisha have been lodging maximum temperatures above 45 degrees Celsius over the last few days. 12 people died of suspected heat stroke in Odisha's Sundagarh during the past 24 hours. Amid sweltering heat, news agency IANS reported. According to PTI, 4 people, including a woman, were killed due to heat wave-related symptoms in Jharkhand's Palamu district, which recorded the state's highest maximum temperature at 47.4 degrees Celsius on Thursday. In Bihar, sunstroke killed 8 on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Delhi government has approached the Supreme Court regarding the water problem in the national capital. In its plea, the Delhi government has informed the Supreme Court that the city's water demand has surged due to ongoing heatwave conditions, and they were urging neighboring Haryana to release additional water for a month to address the crisis. The roasting heat has also triggered power cuts in North India, adding to people's woes. The India Meteorological Department (IMD) has said that the heat wave conditions are likely to abate from tomorrow. IMD scientist Soma Sen said, "There have been a lot of casualties in Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha in the last 24 hours. What we expect is that gradually heat wave conditions will abate from this entire region from tomorrow. Based on this, in most of these states, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Bihar, and Jharkhand. In all these states, we have given an orange alert for heat waves has been issued today. Tomorrow, heat wave conditions are likely to reduce slightly, because of which most of these states will go to yellow alert. Punjab and Haryana, orange alert will be continued along with Orissa," she added. Though the southwest monsoon arrived simultaneously in Kerala and the northeastern regions on Thursday, 2 days ahead of its expected date of June 1, it will reach northern, central, and eastern parts of India only after a month. The Met Office has predicted a dust storm in Delhi and its neighboring areas over the weekend. There is a possibility of a dust storm or thunderstorm on June 1 or June 2, bringing some relief. However, this will be a short-term relief, said Mahesh Palawan, Vice President Meteorology and Climate Change at SkyMet Weather. Delhi's primary weather station, Safdarjung Observatory, on Wednesday recorded a maximum temperature of 46.8 degrees Celsius, the highest in 79 years. It was 46.7 degrees Celsius on June 17, 1945. As temperatures in capital New Delhi shot up this week, power outages in the capital of an estimated 30 million people surged to a record high on Wednesday. Researchers say human-induced climate change has driven the devastating heat impact in India and should be taken as a warning. The High Court in Sanbek, Rajasthan has urged the government to declare a national emergency over the country's ongoing heat wave. The High Court said authorities have failed to take appropriate steps to protect the public from the heat, reported news agency AFP. Due to extreme weather conditions in the form of the heat wave, hundreds of people have lost their lives this month, the court said Thursday. We do not have a planet B which we can move into. If we do not take strict action now, we will lose the chance of seeing our future generations flourish forever. The court directed the state government to set up compensation funds for relatives of any person who dies as a result of heat elements, ruling on the current heat wave and such events in the future. It is also said India should begin declaring them national calamities. This would allow the mobilizations of emergency relief in a similar manner to floods, cyclones, and natural disasters. India's gross domestic product (GDP) for the January to March quarter of fiscal 2023-24 Q4 FY24 came in at 7.8%, driven by strong growth in the manufacturing sector. The Indian economy beat these street estimates and grew by 8.2% for the full year FY24. Economists expect the momentum to remain strong this year. According to data released by the National Statistical Office (NSO) on Friday, May 31, the sector-wise analysis revealed that the real gross value added (GVA) grew at a rate of 7.2% in 2023-24, compared to 6.7% growth observed in 2022-23. The growth propelled the Indian economy to $3.5 trillion and set the stage for achieving the $5 trillion targeting in the next few years. The macroeconomic data comes only days ahead of the high-stakes Lok Sabha elections results 2024, due on Tuesday, June 4. The Reserve Bank of India (RBI) Governor Shaktikanta Das had expected the economy to grow by 8% in FY24. In the previous October to December quarter, Q3 FY24, the economy grew at 8.4%, at its fastest pace in 6 quarters. As predicted, GDP growth rate for 2023-24 crossed the 8% mark and lands at a comfortable 8.2%. Great news for India. Arvind Panagaria, chairman of 16 Finance Commissioners, Arvind Panagaria, said in a post on X. In contrast, some economists say that the economy needs to grow faster for the benefits to percolate the unemployed and poor sections of society. Former Chief Economic Advisor, CEA, to the government of Professor Krishnamurthy V. Subramanian said, the rate of growth of productivity in India pre-2014 was 1.3%. Post-2014, it is 2.7%, which is more than double. The ex-CEA also added that there will still be critics living in their ideology-driven rabbit holes. The higher growth in net taxes is part of the robust economic story because over the last decade, median buoyancy of net taxes in India has been 1.6, with the average being 1.8, say Krishnamurthy V. Subramanian. In the 7th and final phase of the general elections on Saturday, June 1, polling is being held for 57 constituencies spread across 7 states and the Union Territory of Chandigarh, including Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, from where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking a 3rd consecutive term in the Lok Sabha. Voters are making their way to polling stations to choose their representatives in Punjab 13, Uttar Pradesh 13, West Bengal 9, Bihar Odisha 6, Himachal Pradesh 4, Jharkhand 3, and Chandigarh 1. Earlier in the day, PM Modi appealed to people to exercise their franchise. Together, let's make our democracy more vibrant and participative, he said on X. Other leaders, including Congress Rahul Gandhi, urged the people to vote in large numbers. The Congress has decided not to participate in any Lok Sabha exit poll debates on television channels and said it does not want to indulge in speculations and slugfest for TRP. Congress spokesperson and Media Department Chairperson Pawan Khera said, the voters have cast their votes and their verdict has been secured. Congress has said that they have lodged 117 complaints with the Elections Commission of India, which included 14 complaints against the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, 8 against the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, 3 against the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, besides other leaders of the BJP. Meanwhile, 13 pool personnel deployed in Uttar Pradesh, Mirzapur died at a hospital in Mirzapur following high fever and high blood pressure, its principal said. The exact reason for the death is being ascertained, he said. The incident involves stone pelting and looting of electronic voting machines, and national media stranger Banti Mukherjee suffered a severe head injury during violent clashes between TMC and BJP workers in Canning. Under the Jayanagar Lok Sabha constituency, during the final phase of Lok Sabha polls in West Bengal on June 1. The incident occurred as storm pelting erupted between the two rival groups on the last day of voting. Mukherjee has been transferred to Medica Super Speciality Hospital in Kolkata for treatment. In a related incident, a local mob looted electronic voting machines (EVMs) and threw 2 VVPAT machines into a pond in South 24 Parganas, according to officials. BJP leaders Amit Malviya condemned the violence, saying, "Democracy is up in flames in West Bengal. Bombs have been hurled in Zadavpur's Bhangar and irate villagers in Joynagar's Kulti have thrown an EVM and VVPAT machine into a pond because TMC goons won't let them vote, he posted on X. The deceased includes 7 home guard jawans, 3 sanitation workers, 1 clerk posted at the chief medical officer's office, 1 Chakbandi Adhikari, and 1 peon in the home guard team. President Joe Biden secretly gave Ukraine permission to use American weapons to strike inside Russia, two American officials said Thursday, a U-turn that Kyiv's allies hope have turned the tide of the war. Though hugely symbolic and welcomed by Ukraine, the decision only applies to some weapons supplied by the United States, and only in one area, the northeastern Kharkiv region, where Russia launched a sweeping cross-border assault 3 weeks ago, the U.S. official said, speaking on conditions of anonymity. Ukraine will be allowed to use certain types of weapons to strike Russian forces preparing to attack just over the border, a U.S. official told NBC News. But Ukraine will still be prohibited from using longer-range weapons, such as the most-wanted long-range ATACMS, to strike deeper into Russia. The questions of whether to allow Ukraine to use Western weapons to strike inside Russia has become a point of division with its allies and a source of anguish for Kyiv itself. The U.S. had been a lone holdout, resisting urges by European officials to give Ukraine more license to attack Russian soil. NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg has also been among those calling for Ukraine to be allowed to use Western supply weapons to hit targets inside Russia. French President Emmanuel Macron joined the push earlier this week, and Germany confirmed Friday it would match the U.S. in easing its stance. Like all its allies, Washington is trying to balance supporting Ukraine while avoiding the perception that it is indirectly attacking Russia, a common allegation by the Kremlin. President Vladimir Putin commands the world's largest nuclear arsenal and has explicitly warned Western powers that their interventions could trigger World War III. The debate has also been a source of intense complaint from Kyiv, which has suffered recent battlefield setbacks against a resurgent Russian military. Biden's U-turn has already been criticized by President Volodymyr Zelensky as too little too late and costing Ukrainian lives. The president's spokesman confirmed and welcomed the shift in American policy. It will significantly boost our ability to counter Russian attempts to march across the border, Serhiy Nikiforov told NBC News Friday. But Zelensky himself was less welcoming, saying it is in an interview with the Guardian newspaper that Washington's delay in improving the decisions had cost lives. He called on the U.S. to allow the use of long-range weapons to strike deeper into Russia. I think it is absolutely illogical to have weapons and you see the murderers, terrorists who are killing us from the Russian side, he told the Guardian. I think sometimes they are just laughing at the situation, he said of the Russian forces. It's like going hunting for them, hunting for people. They understand that we can see them, but we cannot reach them. It's that dynamic. Ukraine being able to see Russian forces across the border ready to attack, but not preemptively strike them, which shifted the thinking of Biden officials behind the scenes, a U.S. official told NBC News. 3 days after Russia's Kharkiv assault on May 10th, the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Defense Secretary Lord Austin, and Joint Chiefs of Staff General Charles Q. Brown Jr. held a video call with Ukrainian officials, who requested they will be allowed to attack forces across the border in Russia, the U.S. official said. 2 days later, on May 15, Sullivan took the proposal to the president. making the case that it was common sense for Ukraine to be able to fend off Russian attacks by missiles, troops, and bombers before they crossed the border, the official said. After several more meetings, including with Blinken, who had recently traveled to Kyiv, the move was signed off and went into effect as of Thursday, the official added. NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg on Friday dismissed warnings by Russian President Vladimir Putin that allowing Kyiv to use Western weapons for strikes inside Russian territory might lead to an escalation. Speaking on the sidelines of a NATO foreign ministers meeting in Prague, Stoltenberg said the alliance had heard such warning many times before. This is nothing new. It has been the case for a long time that every time NATO allies are providing support to Ukraine, President Putin is trying to threaten us to not do that, he told reporters. And an escalation, well, Russia has escalated by invading another country. Putin on Tuesday warned NATO members against allowing Ukraine to fire their weapons into Russia and raised a risk of nuclear war after several allies lifted restrictions imposed on the use of weapons donated to Kyiv. In a marked policy shift, U.S. President Joe Biden has also authorized Kyiv the limited use of U.S. supplied weapons inside Russia, four officials speaking on conditions of anonymity said on Thursday. Biden's decision applies only to targets inside Russia near the border with the Kharkiv region, where an offensive launched by Moscow on May 10 has overrun some villages, they explained. The U.S. is by far the largest arms donor to Kyiv. Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, is 19 miles 30 kilometers from the border with Russia. Stoltenberg said Ukraine had the right to strike legitimate military targets inside Russia, especially since the borderline and the front line near Kharkiv were more or less the same, and it was not reasonable to assume Kyiv should not hit back. Of course, it makes it very hard for Ukraine to defend themselves if they are not allowed to use advanced weapons to repel those attacks, he said. Ukraine has the right for self-defense. We have the right to help Ukraine uphold the right for self-defense, and that does not make NATO allies a party to conflict, Stoltenberg added. That was the case back in February 2022. That was the case last year. That remains the case. In Berlin on Friday, a German government spokesman said Ukraine could use weapons supplied by Berlin to defend itself against attacks launched from just inside Russia against the Kharkiv border region, in accordance with international law. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.